Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is the Raptor, and welcome to the Season 3 finale of Who'd Win and Why. And this time we got a battle of the three on-screen webheads. We got Tobey Maguire Spider-Man going up against Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, going up against Tom Holland Spider-Man. All three Spider-Men going on head-to-head-to-head. Now, I do want to make sure you guys know that this video was made at the time Civil War was the only movie that the new Spider-Man, the Marvel Cinematic Universe Spider-Man, was in. So I'm not taking anything from Homecoming because it hasn't come out yet, at least not at this time. So there are probably some things that I might have left out because they were introduced in Homecoming. So that might mean that I'm kind of underpowering Tobey Maguire in comparison to the future movies. So I'm sorry about that, guys, but it just fit into this time. So it's almost like Tom Holland, if he was pulled out in between Civil War and Spider-Man Homecoming, what would happen then? You guys know what I mean. And then obviously we're taking Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man off of, right out of Spider-Man 3, and Andrew Garfield out of Amazing Spider-Man 2. So those are the Spider-Man I'm using. This is the first time that I'm doing a three-party battle. I know I did a team-on-team battle, but again, it's still two parties. This time we got three. It's 1v1v1. So, one person has to kill the other two in order to win. So, I'm hoping I'm doing this correctly, because, again, there's a lot of things that are going to play off each other. So, I'm hoping I'm going to do this correctly. If I don't, well, it was my first time. But I do think I have a good answer. I do think I know who would win. And, again, you guys don't have to agree with me. If you think that I'm wrong, please tell me in the comments, because I probably didn't get everything right. I'm not like Death Bow, where I do, all this information or whatever. And it's okay to disagree. It's okay. You can voice your opinion in the comments. There's obviously nothing wrong with that. But anyway, let's get on to this episode. So, who would win and why? Let's find out. So, this is going to be a bit of a different episode. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the main things that all the Spider-Man have in common, and then most of the video is actually going to be comparing the feats of all three, just to make it easier for me to organize. I'm going to go through strength, then speed, then durability, and then, endurance and everything like that. I'm going to almost go through a checklist and compare their best feats, and then figure out which one has the upper hand in the situation. So what all these Spider-Man have in common. So obviously all of them are super strong and fast and durable. They all have high levels of endurance. All of them are extremely smart for high school students. Obviously, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is the oldest, and the Tom Holland Spider-Man is the youngest, because Tom Holland is still in high school. But regardless, all of them are extremely intelligent for their age. They're also strength. It's pretty much what they have in the comics. They can all spin webs. I believe Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is the only one that actually has organic webbing, whereas the other two have web shooters, and I might have gotten that wrong, but I think that's what it is. Obviously, all of them can cling to any surface. They can wall crawl. They also I'm gonna get into Spider Sense a bit later, actually, because that one's a bit interesting. You guys will know what I mean when I get to that portion. But all of them have strengths. I really don't feel I need to go over all of these. You guys all know what these guys have. Strength, the speed, the endurance, the durability, the web shooters. Everything they have. So let's just get on to let's just get onto the checklist, who has the upper hand. So first, when comparing strength. Now, Tom Holland, his best strength feat that I believe that we've seen is that he was able to hold up that thing in at the airport in the Civil War, which I'm assuming is still pretty tough. It's still pretty heavy. It's something that he can lift. So we could tell that he was really struggling when he was lifting that, and it doesn't compare to what Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire have done. What Andrew Garfield has done, he has lifted up a cop car, which is about 3,000 pounds. No big deal. To him, it was pretty much no big deal. He was lifting it, and he wasn't really under any pressure or anything like that, under stress, whereas Tom Holland was under a lot of stress while he was doing that. So he was lifting up a 3,000 pound car with relative ease. That's pretty impressive, but it doesn't stack up to what Tobey Maguire has done. Tobey Maguire has done two strength feats that have really stood out. He's held up that gigantic wall in Spider-Man 2. I don't know how much exactly that weighs, but it's still something that he was it was tough to lift, but it was still something that completely blows away the cop car and the thing at the airport. It's something that he was lifting up for a pretty dang long time too. But the most impressive thing he's done was the thing in Spider-Man 2 when he was holding back the train. That thing was going extremely fast. It was going at, I don't know how fast it was going, but it was, I think, around 240 tons, which is 480,000 pounds, and he stopped it in about half a minute. You know, that's insane. That's something that blows away everything else that they've done. You know, like 3,000 pounds is a ton and a half. This is 420 tons moving at a speed that, and he's trying to stop it just by like holding up against it. He's even like, his feet are actually on the train. Think about how impressive that is. That is insane. Strength, obviously, Tobey Maguire has the strength advantage over them. Now, here's the part about the spider sense I was talking about. I'm gonna like combine speed and agility and spider sense all into one. Now, this may shock a ton of you. This may not shock any of you at all. But what I've noticed is that Tobey Maguire is the only Spider-Man that actually is using spider sense. I believe he's the only Spider-Man that actually has it. And some of you may be thinking, what, really? I don't believe that. Well, let's look at the stuff. First of all, Tom Holland's Spider-Man to talk about spider sense is a bit easier to talk about. So we have Tom Holland. In 3 instances, we can see that he does not use spider sense where he clearly should have been. First time, when Ant-Man, when Spider-Man stole Captain America's shield, you know, that awesome scene. Ant-Man is on Captain America's shield, and even though Spider-Man does say like, guys, you know, like he does notice him, he clearly wasn't using spider sense to do so. And when Ant-Man like grows and backflips off, he didn't use spider sense there. Heck, he couldn't even use the reflexes to somewhat dodge that. He was completely thrown off guard by it, and he was looking right at Ant-Man. But that was that's a bit of a different story. But anyway, the 2 other times. So the first time is when Red Wing comes in and he snatches Spider-Man, and Spider-Man has no idea. He's talking to them like, you know, guys, I really got to impress Mr. Stark, and then he completely like just takes him away. And he has no idea it's happening. Is that not enough? Well, do you remember when he strategizes to take down Giant Man, and then he's like, woohoo, that was awesome, and then Giant Man completely like just whips him, like, well, not whips him, but you know, like he just smacks him out of the air. And some of you guys might be thinking, well, you know, that's just for comedic purposes. But even so, he doesn't show any times where he's using spider sense clearly when he should have. And with Andrew Garfield, this one's a bit more debatable considering that he's dodging electricity, which if it goes at the same speed as lightning is 224,000 miles per hour. Is that correct? That's insane. That's like faster than anything I believe Tobey Maguire has dodged. But it's still something that begs the question: does he really have spider sense? In the Amazing Spider-Man 1, he was shot by like a tranquilizer dart, like in like the middle of the night, and he couldn't dodge that. He didn't use spider sense at all. And he got hit by, I believe, like a cop car in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and he didn't use spider sense for that either. He's not using spider sense at all. Instead, he just got like a really big speed boost, which is really good. And like whenever you're using spider sense on screen, like, you know, spider sense in the comics is completely OP. You have to use like either a limited version of the spider sense, which is something that Tobey Maguire has, considering he doesn't use it all the time, or you can't give it to them at all. And, you know, Tom Holland doesn't even have that speed boost. We don't even see that he's that fast, really, that much at all. When he's slinging webs, sure, he's fast. We don't even see him being that fast. And again, that might just be because he's only in one movie right now. But still, he should, like, I feel that even in one movie, he should be showing everything he has, especially when he's fighting these superpowered characters, which is something that he hasn't done before. He doesn't have much experience fighting superpowered characters. That was, like, the first time he's done so. And then we have Tobey Maguire, who still uses the spider sense. Not all the time, obviously. There are some times where he should have used it when he hasn't. But when he's using spider sense, he's using it. You know, he's actually like using it, and they emphasize that he does have it. And we all know that from Death Battle, in Battle Royales, if you don't get hit early on, that gives you a huge advantage. And while Andrew Garfield might still have that slight speed advantage over Tobey Maguire, or maybe a big one, I don't know, Tobey Maguire still has the spider sense, which at least puts him on like a cat, like he's still on a pretty good level. So yes, while Spider-Man, like Andrew Garfield, and even though Andrew Garfield can dodge electricity, he's still doing it in the air, and he's like all he's doing is dodging it. And then we're talking about like maybe on the ground. I doubt that he's that fast when it comes to actually like physical combat. And like when they're actually like, throwing punches. And you know, Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, he's been shown to has spider sense. So with speed and spider sense, it's hard to give anyone a point for this one. With spider sense, obviously that's for Tobey Maguire. For speed, it's Andrew Garfield / Tobey Maguire, maybe giving it to Andrew Garfield. Anyway, let's move on. So durability / endurance. So let's talk about this for a minute. We haven't seen that many feats of endurance or durability for Tom Holland yet. We haven't seen that many feats. Obviously, he is going up against superpowered characters. Although he hasn't done it that much, though, you know, I'll get to that later. But for Andrew Garfield, let's see. Andrew Garfield has, he's been able to survive electricity, which is impressive. You know, he's been able to survive Electro's electricity. Though, there was actually a YouTuber whose name is Gubbs. He's actually a really good YouTuber. He has, like, I think, like, 33,000 subscribers, though he does deserve a lot more. Anyway, when he was doing his own Spider-Man versus Spider-Man, video, which was just Tobey Maguire versus Andrew Garfield, he actually calculated that the electricity that Electro was hitting him with was actually, like, an electrical number that a real human can actually survive, even without spider powers. And we're talking about a guy that actually is, like, shown to be affected by it a lot. You know, like, he's actually really struggling with it, even with the superhuman endurance that he has, and with his rubberized suit. So we're talking about a guy that, like, he's getting really affected by it. We've seen that, like, he's affected by it a lot, and it's something that a regular human can walk away from. So how impressive of a feat is that actually? Then we look at Tobey Maguire, and he can survive a goblin grenade that is inches away from his face in Spider-Man 1. And this is probably the same goblin grenade that can, you know, like, disintegrate regular people at, like, feet away, like maybe not even a foot away, you know, like, it's so close. And then we see Spider-Man, who's, like, the goblin grenade is so close to his face, and it doesn't really affect him much at all. Sure, it, like, catches him off guard, and which is, again, another thing with the spider sense thing. It's kind of on and off. But the point is, you know, like, it's so close to his face, and it doesn't disintegrate him, it just blows up. And even if it's not the same goblin grenade, we know how powerful grenades are. They're supposed to, like, blow off your head. And the fact that he was able to survive it 4 inches away, or however many inches away, that's insane. That is definitely still better than like an electricity amount that anyone can survive. So definitely Tobey Maguire takes the endurance and durability round. Intellect. This one is interesting. Obviously, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield have a higher level of intellect than Tom Holland does, just because they're older, and we haven't really seen any big strategic moves that Tom Holland has done, other than the fact that he was able to, you know, like, have you ever seen that old movie Empire Strikes Back? And he was able to strategize that you know, Ant-Man could be toppled over if he webbed around his legs, like somewhat they did in Empire Strikes Back, which again is very strategic, and it is something you can come up with on the fly. But then we have Spider-Man, like, sorry, I don't want to say Spider-Man because, you know, like, you don't know who I'm talking about. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, they are using their smarts, and they're actually applying it from, like, school and everything like that to their own to the battlefield. You know, like, they're strategizing. They're shown strategizing much more and much better. Now, when it comes to intellect, I'm gonna have to give this round to Andrew Garfield, simply because he seems to be smart, like, just generally smarter. Though keep in mind that most of his smarts that he has over Tom Holland and Tobey Maguire usually come with prep time, like trying to actually figure out, like, how to use his like, try to modify his web shooters after fighting Electro. That comes with prep time. Most of that comes with prep time, but still, Andrew Garfield seems to be the most level-headed, maybe the most strategic. I have to give that one to Andrew Garfield. Also, experience. This one's kind of a no-brainer. Tobey Maguire has more experience simply because we've seen him fighting more people, more superpowered characters, like 5 of them, whereas Andrew Garfield has fought 4, which, again, it's still very impressive, but still, you know, he's still fought a lot of characters. And he's had more movies, whereas The Amazing Spider-Man 2, like, there's only been 2 movies, you know, for the Amazing Spider-Man series. And again, if we're taking Tom Holland out of the Civil War line, like where he is right now, he's only fought, like, okay, yes, he's fought a team, but with a team, like, defending him. And also, like, remember, we've even seen that, like, Spider-Man even said to Captain America, you know, like, he said to go for your legs. You know, that means that Iron Man has told him about the other combatants. Would it be so much of a stretch to say that, like, when he was fighting Falcon and Winter Soldier before, he was given tips on how to beat them? I'm pretty sure that's not that much of a stretched assumption. And you know, like, he's fighting, he hasn't fought that many superpowered characters in the past, so, you know, and he's really, the only times he has done it was with prep time. And this time he's trying to kill 2 Spider-Men, 2 of them, without any prep time and without anyone behind him, without anyone to help him. That doesn't say many good things about him. And when it comes to, like, experience, again, like Tobey Maguire, when he's caught off guard with, like, the new Goblin in the later movies, meaning when he's more experienced, he okay, what am I saying? You know, he demolished Harry Osborn, and he wasn't even ready for that fight. And then we're seeing, like, even though Harry Osborn is probably new to the whole Goblin thing, we've seen that he's navigating the glider pretty well. And remember, Spider-Man wasn't even ready for that fight, and he still knocked him out. That's pretty impressive. And then we see that that Andrew Garfield, when he's caught off guard by Electro, he doesn't get demolished or anything, and he still seems to be having fun while he's doing it, but he's still having a lot of trouble getting through everything. Like, he's still having a lot of trouble trying to fight him and trying to protect everyone. Whereas, Tobey Maguire, he seemed to be able to, like, just fight anyone, whenever, wherever, which is what this is. This is like a one-on-one confrontation. You don't have any prep time, nothing like that, no notification. You're just doing it. And obviously, we see that Tobey Maguire is just better in this area. So I think that's most of everything that, like, I have to say about these characters. So if you guys haven't figured it out by now, I think that Tobey Maguire would win, simply because he has the spider sense that allows him to dodge pretty much anything that that the other Spider-Man can throw at him. Plus, you know, like, they're nearly himself, you know, like, they're all Spider-Man. They're still technically the same character. And I feel that paired with the spider sense gives him, like, he knows how to fight the other people. And obviously everyone else knows how to fight everyone else, except for maybe the exception of Tom Holland. But still, you know, I just think that Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is just better when it comes to dodging, because, you know, he has the spider sense, and he's just clearly stronger. He's tougher, maybe not faster, but he might have, like, you know, better reflexes. We've seen that when he's fighting Doc Ock, he was able to, like, dodge the arms very easily, and he was able to, like, remember, I'm not sure if you guys remember, but he was going through, like, this thing when Doc Ock, like, threw him, and he was able to, like, do, like, a midair thing where he was, like, it's hard to explain, but the point is, he is still very agile. Maybe you guys didn't understand what I was talking about before, but the point is, he's still extremely agile, and he's still, you know, like, he can dodge things. He's super strong. He's stronger than any of the other two Spider-Man. He's still more durable than them. Really, the only advantages that I see that Andrew Garfield might have is, you know, intelligence, but again, that's mostly due to prep time, and speed, which again is still something that Spider-Man might have to work for, like both of the other Spider-Man might still have to work for. But still, we've seen that, like, just, like, Tobey Maguire is still, like, he's up there in pretty much every other category. And Tom, I'm sorry, you're completely destroyed, but it's just simply because, you know, you don't have the experience. You only have one movie at this point. So I already knew, just from the look at this, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to give this one to Tom. I just personally think that Tobey Maguire is more set to win this one. He's had experience fighting. He has more experience fighting superpowered characters, and he just seems like he just seems better, like, he's stronger. He's just the better Spidey. He seems to be the most powerful Spidey, in my opinion. Again, this is all just my opinion. If you guys think that any other Spider-Man could actually win this fight, which could be plausible, you know, like, I could see some people thinking that Andrew Garfield would win. And if you actually think that, please comment down below and comment down why. If you think I got anything wrong, please tell me why, because I'm not an expert on any of these characters. You know, I still know them, but I'm not an expert on any of them. So please tell me your thoughts. If you guys like this episode, if you like Who'd Win and Why, please give me a like, comment down below everything I said before, and subscribe to my channel. That would honestly be so great. The last time I checked, I had 149 subscribers. It could change by now, obviously, but could we get up to 150 before Season 4 starts, which is going to be soon? Maybe. But if you guys would subscribe, that would honestly be so great. That would really help the channel out. I hope you guys are still enjoying Who'd Win and Why, because, you know, like, it doesn't make sense for me to make them if you guys aren't enjoying them. So I hope you guys are still watching them, and you guys are still genuinely enjoying them. Next time on Who'd Win and Why, we got the Halloween season. That schedule video will come out fairly soon, and you'll guys know what fights there are if you guys don't already know already. So I hope you guys are excited for that. So yeah, that's really all I have to say. That was my Spider-Man video. Again, I think Tobey Maguire would win this fight. It's not going to be easy, because obviously it's 1v1v1. He has to kill 2 people in the process, but I still think that he's able to pull it off better than Andrew Garfield or Tom Holland. Definitely more than Tom Holland. But again, you guys tell me everything you thought about this episode, what you think about this fight, and that's really all I have to say. So see you later, and have a good night.